Phase Hero. This is episode number 11 starting now. Jamie's moving like Spider-Punk in Spider-Verse with that internet connection over there. Being here, we got Jenna Anderson.
Hey, everybody.
Jamie Jurek.
Good morning. I'm so excited.
And Aaron Perrine.
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? Well, what's going on is a lot. This is one of those weeks where you're refreshing Twitter going, wow, Phase Hero is going to be crazy this week. Where the group chat's going wild, where everybody's like, I want to hear what Phase Hero has to say about this. We'll wait no further. It's happening now. And we have a special guest today. So we're going to start by talking about a lot of that Marvel news. We like to talk about Marvel news on Phase Hero because there were headlines. And then in about 12 minutes, we have Rogue. Lenore Zann on the show. And then we have more to talk about that after that because Kraven reactions are in. Jamie and I were able to secure tickets for Thursday night. Can you believe it? Woo! Really? Wow. Hunted those down late in the game. Thank you. Sorry. Anyway. And then, of course, we have some DC stuff to talk about, awards stuff to talk about, and an interesting ranking of the most anticipated movies of 2025 from Fandango that we have to discuss as well. So it's going to be a big show, and we just got to get right into this one. First of all, the Avengers are assembling. They're reassembling. Chris Evans is back in the MCU again. Back again because he was already back this year as the Human Torch. He's going to be in Avengers Doomsday. It's unclear who he's playing. I mean, he's obviously going to be Steve Rogers or a variant of Steve Rogers, if you ask me. I am excited for this news. I love it. Aaron's already showing a reaction. How you feeling?
I thought this was coming, so it's nice. But, I mean, as soon as you bring the Russos back, you bring RDJ back, we're just getting the band back together. At this point, I hope they're shooting all of them showing up to people's front doorsteps to recruit the gang for one last heist. I also think that there are no coincidences and that the timing of this is interesting. So,
what do you mean?
Weren't we doing reshoots for Brave New World like 3 weeks ago in LA?
Oh, the tinfoil hat. That's usually what I wear.
Yeah.
Did you raid my closet?
I did.
Wow. Actually, I didn't even think about that. That would be wild. Like a credit scene with Steve. They go to the moon, and Joaquin Torres is like, he's not here. We got to go back to Earth and go back in time and find him. Interesting. Our guest today has had beef with Captain America. We're going to address that in a few minutes. But Jenna, what are you thinking about this?
Can I just say I was the person who dropped this in our group chat, and because we had already been discussing the Star Wars news we're going to talk about later, and it was just a 1-2 punch of like, am I hallucinating right now, or is this news actually real? I have a lot of complicated feelings about this. I agree with the people online who are saying it's kind of frustrating that we can't get one Avengers movie without RDJ, without Evans. Like, we couldn't let the new Avengers roster fully stand on its own. But that being said, I've seen so many theories as to like who he is playing. I've even seen people be like, he's going to be back as Johnny and he's in First Steps and whatever. But I don't want it to be Hydra Cap. I really think, especially given the optics of everything, I do not think that is something they need to touch. I've seen people say Cap Wolf, which is just literally werewolf Captain America. I think that would be delightful. I also would not be surprised if he's like President Steve Rogers, and maybe we see him in some sort of supporting capacity with that. It's interesting to me that they are publicly letting this come out now because it makes me think there's so much more else that we're not going to know about. It feels like when Jennifer Garner was announced for Deadpool of like, this is just the tip of the iceberg, but it's something for us to know as this movie is starting.
I feel like it was a bit of a make good because it came from the rap. And after I think this might have been like you guys can have this one. You get this piece of news. Jamie, what do you think?
I feel the exact same way I felt when we learned about the Russos and we learned about RDJ. I think that I'm sure we're all going to show up and love it because it's our fandom and we have a good time. But I think that it is a decision made out of fear. I do. Once again, I just feel like it is the next Avengers movie. We can't go one Avengers movie without these heavy hitters. It kind of just bums me out creatively. It makes me feel like they just have like they're afraid. And Deadpool and Wolverine making $1 billion and having a lot of nostalgia. I feel like they still want to ride this train. And like, of course I'm going to be excited to see Chris Evans on my screen. Like, I'm not a monster, but I wish I could be more excited about it. I want to see the other new people, even if this was pushed back one to Secret Wars, right? Like, because this is I think would be like just like a little slightly more interesting news. I do like the theory that they're going to get all 6 original Avengers as villains. I think that's kind of fun, but it's also I don't want to say gimmicky because it's all silly and whatever, but I wish I was more excited. I don't hate it. I don't hate anything. But it's hard for me to get pumped for recycled business.
Jamie hates Chris Evans, confirmed. Thank you, Tommy Fasano, for $49.99, my friend. Been watching for 3+ years. I love hearing your thoughts and opinions. Keep up the good work and never stop improving. Tommy, thank you so much. That's really kind of you. I am really excited for this news. I disagree with everything Jamie said, respectfully. I don't feel like I think the biggest misstep from Marvel was not having Secret Invasion as an Avengers movie with all new characters, or some of the carryovers like Hawkeye, Thor, and and Hulk that are still around from the Infinity Saga. But because they didn't do that, I think this multiverse story would be stupid to do without variants of characters we know. Like, I think, I think it just, this works for me. Russo's knocked the shit out of the park with every Evans movie they made. So did Marcus and McFeely. They clocked that thing over the fence. The only bad movie Marcus and McFeely wrote did not have Chris Evans in it. Actually, it did for like one scene. But, the only bad Marvel movie they wrote, or lackluster, was Dark World. People even forget they wrote that. And I'm pretty sure Marcus and McFeely are writing these. I think it's been said.
It's one of them, but I don't remember which
them,
one.
Yes.
I think Marcus was the one they said.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I love this news. Also, right after that news, it came out that Anthony Mackie is also in Doomsday. And I feel like Anthony Mackie's team, or maybe Marvel, was like, whoa. He's our Captain America. Don't forget, Mackie's Captain America. Make sure they know he's in it too. That's how it felt to me. But also, like, that's one of those that was very obvious, very necessary. It had to happen. Feels weird to get that news right before Brave New World comes out, which is the #1 anticipated movie according to Fandango. We'll talk about that later in the show. And Benedict Cumberbatch also had a quote out there that he's coming back as Doctor Strange. Those two are very expected, so therefore a bit less exciting to me, even though I'm still very excited. You just can't compare those to Evans and Downey, who were seemingly done but are back.
Yeah, the Anthony Mackie news came out, and I was like, Captain America's in Avengers? Oh, I'm shooketh. Like, yeah, of course he's in the movie. He's Captain America.
Can I just say, to Aaron's point of like needing documentary footage of them like approaching everybody, I need just an entire assembled just about figuring out how credits are going to work in these two movies. Because like we all laughed at the with Chris Pratt credit in Infinity War, and I feel like this is going to be 1,000,000 times more convoluted and like just interesting of just seeing all of these different camps figure out who gets credited in what way. Like I need to see that behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. The agents are going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what this is about to be. I don't know. Me and Brandon, as wrestling junkies, are anticipating our own who gets the credit, who gets top billing extravaganza here in a couple months at WrestleMania. Ooh. It's going to be nothing compared to this. It's like, who is going to be in the center of this poster, kids?
Well, here's the thing.
Robert Downey
Jr., who's the villain of the
Dr.
movie.
Doom.
RDJ.
I guess so.
It's going to be RDJ.
Like, that's
RDJ.
so
There's
funny.
No way.
It's insane to do. Like it's a wild undertaking that's going to take so much. And I would like to also say to all the people in the comments who are like, I don't know if it hurts Cap 4 for him to be here, like for Evans. Not if he's in the movie.
I'm gonna make a wrestling comparison that I think.
It doesn't. Huh?
My volume was too low to hear you. What'd you say?
I said not if he's in the movie. It doesn't.
I'm gonna make a wrestling comparison that's gonna piss some people off.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. You're going to have Downey and Evans in the film. And y'all know I love Shang-Chi, okay? Them two, as whatever character they play, sells more tickets than just about everybody else in the film.
Unfortunately.
Hemsworth in the movie sells more tickets than just about everyone else in the film. Cody Rhodes is the WWE champion, right? Anthony Mackie is Captain America.
That's right.
The Rock sells more tickets.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You don't do they did Rock versus Hogan as an undercard to Triple H versus Chris Jericho, and the crowd was dead for the main event. Because they wanted to see Rock and Hogan, because those were the biggest superstars. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm one of the sheep, I don't know. I just really like these characters that it seems most people are really excited about, except when you get on Twitter and they're like, oh, it's dead.
Can I also just say, I also think a huge portion of this, like I'd already thought going into Secret Wars that like a lot of the cameos we would see would be like, we're going to probably get Patrick Stewart. We're probably going to get Ian McKellen because it's most likely the last time they're ever going to portray these characters. And I feel like also having Jeremy Renner's situation be what it was a couple of years ago also kind of made it a thing of like, if we can get the OG 6 Avengers again, if we can do the little pan around the camera of the 6 of them and it's all variants, they want to do that in these movies so that then they don't have to worry about doing it any later. So I expected Evans and I expect the original 6 to be in these movies. It's just like interesting that we're hearing Evans as early as we are.
I agree. I mean, especially after he just came back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like after he was just Johnny. Just don't do Captain America like Johnny. If they bring back Steve Rogers as a gimmick and they rip his skin off.
Unless it's Hydra Cap.
Yeah, that's fine.
I do want to say one thing before we move on to and I know that some people I've seen be like, by bringing RDJ back, you ruin the impact of his death in Avengers Endgame, and I don't agree with that because that is the character, that is Tony Stark. I don't think we should be conflating the character with the actor because that makes the actor more important than the characters, and I don't think that's how we should be viewing these things. So I do want to say, even though I don't love it all, I don't think that bringing these people back as new variants or whatever diminishes how powerful their endings were in Endgame. That's my one positive stance I'd like to throw out there.
I completely agree with you on that. Deadpool just showed that. Deadpool just showed how to do that without, I mean, it made a joke of it and it still did it right. And one last question before we bring in our special guest for the day, all on this topic. We got to talk about Kraven and we will. But Tom says, do you think Johansson is in Doomsday?
Yes.
Absolutely. I love go ahead.
I was thinking about this yesterday I feel like it's going to be interesting with her negotiations, both with the way that Black Widow was handled over COVID and then also the fact that Jurassic is about to come out next year. And I'm sure that's probably going to help with her negotiating a bigger payday. Like I would be very curious when and if we hear that she's going to be in these movies, because I feel like that's probably being worked on right now.
Yeah, I think she'll be in there. Jamie, what do you think?
I think of the 6, she's the least likely, but I still think they're going to get her. They're going to throw money at her. Like they after the whole Black Widow lawsuit business, they resolved it. She's still producing one of the big things coming up is Tower of Terror. And so like the relationship with Disney has been mended. So I'm sure they're going to throw a bunch of money at that woman. But I do think of the 6, she's going to be the hardest to get because of how all that went down.
Listen, art imitates life. And life imitates art a lot. Jeremy Renner rolling up with his cane and telling her to come on is going to get her through the door. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I am not immune to peer pressure. If one of you had like a life-threatening accident and was like, I'm only doing this last one, and Brandon sits there like, Aaron, we have to do one last phase hero in the year 2082 on the moon, I'm going to be like, Ariel, where's my super suit? We're going to do it. We're going to do it. It is what it is.
I have one last comment on this. We got to get to our interview. I think this goes back to one of the things I said when they first brought the Russos back. People work with people they like working with. And the Russos being at the helm of this felt like a play, like an indicator that it's a hard project to make. They got through Infinity War and Endgame, and he rounded up everybody from the OG6 to the Guardians to everybody. And everybody seemed to have as good of a time as you could through a grueling long shoot of those movies. And I think that the Avengers, they have tattoos together. Like they're people who get along quite well. It seems that way anyway, from what we can tell. I'm sure you spend enough time with people, there's drama, but they seem to be really good friends who have, as we've talked about, experienced life changes, had kids, started families, all this stuff at the same time. And I think that if 5 of them come back, Scarlett's going to be there too. She's not going to miss the party. They'll figure it out. I hope so anyway. But all right, we have to get to our special guest interview, everybody. This is very exciting. Joining Phase Hero now. An absolute legend. I had the pleasure of introducing her on the D23 stage during the Marvel Animation panel and talking with her a bit afterwards. And that's where I learned so quickly what an absolute delight of a human being she is. She is the voice of Rogue in X-Men the Animated Series and now again in X-Men 97. She has released a book called A Rogue's Tale, a memoir detailing so many incredible moments from her life, ranging from working with incredible filmmakers and actors who we all, love their work, a career in politics, as someone in the comment section already pointed out, and overcoming her own battles and becoming her own hero. So please, everybody in the comment section, everybody around the world listening, give a warm Phase Hero welcome to Lenore Zann. Lenore, how are you?
Oh, hello there, sugar. How y'all doing?
That might be the best entrance anyone has ever made.
Well, it's really nice to be here. I really appreciate you having me on the show.
Of course. Thank you for being here. Congratulations. I mean,
great.
congratulations on a few things.
Thank you.
I think you have a little trophy right next to you,
You
huh?
mean this little one here? Yes, an Astra Award.
For
We just picked this up on Sunday night at the Astras in Hollywood, and the Astras are given out by the Hollywood Creative Alliance, and we won Best Animated Series or TV Movie for X-Men '97. Yay!
so deserved. So
Yay!
deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was great. And I also got to do the acceptance speech on behalf of the team, which was so nice as well, because you can't have a show this good without a great creative team.
No.
So, I'm very much aware this is all a team spirited show, and I'm really happy for us all.
I love it.
Yeah.
We have a few minutes with you to talk about this experience, this book that you've released. And I would like to go sort of back to the beginning, because you were brought into my life through X-Men, the animated series, when I met Rogue for the first time there. That's where I first met the character.
Right.
How was Rogue introduced to you? Do you remember like that first opportunity, that moment where you realized you get to make this incredible character your own?
Yeah. I mean, I skipped the first initial auditions in Toronto. I had just come back to Toronto, which is where I am right now, actually, coming from. I was in Toronto because I'd finished doing a year's worth of a play called Unidentified Human Remains: The True Nature of Love in New York, off Broadway. And before that, I was doing it in Chicago for a year. So I came back to Toronto. And my agent at the time said, listen, I know you only do film and TV and theater, but there's this animated series and they're looking for a character, a voice. They're looking for a woman with a deep, husky, sexy voice who can do a Southern accent. That's exactly what she said. And I said, oh, yeah, that's interesting. But I didn't go to the auditions because, I don't know, I just wasn't really that into it at that time. Then about a month or so later, she called me again. She said, Lenore, they still haven't found the right actress for that character I told you about, because it's you. So get your ass in gear, get down to the studio and audition. And so I auditioned for the callback. So I walked into the studio. I saw this drawing, which I realize now that Larry Houston had drawn, of a Rogue standing there with her hand on her hip and her head up in the air and that beautiful hair. And I thought, yeah, I can do this. So I just walked into the room, put the headphones on. The producers and writers were in LA. And I said the first little part of the script, which was, my daddy liked to kill himself when he found out I was a mutant. Get out of my mind. I remember I had me a boyfriend when I was 13. Had me a boyfriend till I kissed him. Poor boy went into a coma for 3 days. And I heard all these screams on the other end of the headphones from all these producers, and they were like, don't let her leave the building. That's Rogue.
Wow.
That's my first introduction with Rogue, and it was pretty clear from their reaction that they wanted me.
Oh gosh, I could just sit here and listen to that all day. Obviously, you worked on this series in the 90s, and a lot has changed since then, just even in technology wise. You're working with a lot of the same people, but a lot of new people as well. How did it compare in that way for you?
It's been great. It's been pretty smooth sailing. Back in the 90s, we did it all in one room. And in the very beginning, they put microphones in a row, and in a circle in the same room. And we all saw each other and reacted to each other. That changed over time to just bringing us in one at a time. And now they just bring us in one at a time because we're all spread out over North America, really. Some of the folks are still in Toronto, some are in LA, some are in Vancouver. The first season of X-Men '97, I recorded entirely in Halifax. And then season 2, which I've finished now, don't ask for any spoilers, I did that one mainly in LA. So we're all over the place. But we know our characters well enough now, those of us who have been in it for 30 years, that we can imagine what's happening. We know how the other person sounds, and so we let the imagination do most of the work.
So, as we mentioned, you're not just a voice actress; you're also a politician. How do you feel that the challenges of playing a superhero with, the best interests of everyone else at heart, kind of translates into that side of your work as well?
Well, being somebody who cares deeply about trying to make things better for people, trying to look out and support people who are being bullied, the underdog, uh, fighting against racism, bigotry, um, trying to make the world a better place for all. And that's what Rogue is all about as well. And she's willing to lay down her life for not only her friends, but also for others who are put down by others and who are oppressed. She wants to have equality for all. She's a social justice hero in that sense. And to be honest, that's what I've done as a politician. And one of my private members' bills, we call them, in Canada, when I was a member of parliament, was called An Act to Address Environmental Racism and Environmental Justice. And it passed this past summer. It became law in Canada. It took me 10 years to do, but we got it passed this past year. And I'm just so grateful. And environmental racism, for anyone who doesn't know, is the pollution, the corporate pollution that is placed on or beside racialized communities. Also, like landfills, dumps, those kinds of things, where there is a different health outcome for the people in that community that are living there. And usually they are racialized, either Black communities or Indigenous communities. And so that's something that is really close to my heart. And I'm just really proud that I got to have it passed into law and got royal assent this past summer.
That's incredible. That's
Yeah.
incredible work. I
Thank
mean,
you.
all these things, these incredible experiences you've had like that, making them literally impacting the world with policy, with things like that. Your experiences in film, you've worked with Keanu Reeves and Steven Spielberg. You've worked in these Marvel worlds that shape our lives through fiction. They're all part of A Rogue's Tale, a memoir, which is available now. Everybody listening, you can download it digitally. The ebook is the best way to download it from Barnes & Noble or Amazon. But was it a bit intimidating or daunting to share so much of yourself through a memoir? What were some of the challenges?
Yeah.
Like, is it, and how does it feel now that it's out there and people are coming to you, sharing their thoughts on your experiences since they know you so well?
Yeah, it definitely was daunting. Trying to figure out which stories to tell out of a breadth of experience was a big one. But it basically told itself. I started at the beginning in my early years in Australia, having my mom put me into ballet, and then also going into the countryside, into the bush, where my grandmother lived in this beautiful area with not very many people, and her next door neighbor was an Aboriginal Indigenous lady and a family of like 10 kids that she was bringing up who weren't her own but had been abandoned by their mothers, and they were my first friends. So melding those two and to become who I am today, it kind of says a lot. And so I started there and I went bit by bit throughout my whole life. Well, actually, till the end of doing X-Men, the animated series, the first time around. And then I kind of took a break and I come back and I just tell what I've done since then. At some point, I'm going to do another book about being a female politician and what that's like. Maybe call it something like Rogue Goes to Parliament or something. But because there's just too much in there. I didn't want to have to write a 400-page book. This is about 225 pages. And I wrote on planes. I found that once I got on a plane, I could get into the writing zone because there was no distractions. So it was really a great opportunity. Now I'm very keen to hear what people think about the book, and I'm hearing from a lot of people that they feel that they've cried several times during it, and that it's really helped them with some of their own issues that they're going through, which is why I wrote it in the first place.
We all know that season 2 of 97 is coming up. Can't wait. It's all I can think about.
Yes.
But you've got some other exciting projects in the works, including some live action stuff. Can you give us a little tease?
Yes, I just finished shooting a new TV series for Sci-Fi Network or Peacock/NBC. We shot that in New Brunswick, Canada, but it's going to be coming out next year. It's called Revival. And anyone who's familiar with the comic book series of the same name, there was a comic book series it's a horror genre, and it came out between 2012 and 2017. It was very popular. Now I noticed this year, they've got the compendium. It's about this thick of all of the comics. And my character is in there. I play a recurring character called Jeannie. And it's going to be really good. I hear that the network is very, very pleased with it. Everything I've seen is excellent. The actors are fantastic. So you've got that to look forward to. Also, I have a movie with David Jason Frank. It's his last movie that he made, The Green Power Ranger, before he passed. That's coming out. And another animated feature film called Space Bears, about these little bears in outer space whose mission is to go around to dying planets and teach their inhabitants to protect and preserve their environment. It's for children and families, and it's a musical, so I get to sing as well. So that's quite a few things coming out right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw this out there because one of the most best things about X-Men is the romantic drama, and we get a
Yes.
little love triangle.
Right.
I love it. Ooh, and what are your thoughts on the Magneto of it all? What do you think draws Rogue to him, other than the obvious?
Well, they met up in the Savage Lands time, and Rogue was at an age and at a time when she was feeling really lonely and kind of lost and trying to figure things out. And he showed her kindness, and he taught her about so many interesting things. And I know some of the fans have said, oh, well, he was so much older than her, this is perverted or whatever. But as a young woman, I found myself attracted to some older men as well. I had a relationship for a few weeks, doing a movie and stuff with an older actor who has since passed. I had an affair with an older director, and part of what attracted me to them was their minds, and their stories about so many interesting things. Like Lou Gossett Jr. was the actor, and he had met Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and I could listen to that man talk for days. And plus, he was sexy. And that's what Rogue was attracted to in Magneto, and they could touch. That said, I believe that Remy was always her soulmate. But like Romeo and Juliet, they are star-crossed lovers, and things just didn't quite meet up. I would call myself an original Romy fan. I'm an original Romy, but what can you do? She has to live with what she decides, what she does. And I thought it was a really important moment in episode 5. Remember it when I said to Magneto, thanks for the dance, sugar, but Remy was right. Some things are deeper than skin. And for me, that says so much.
Wait, we're going to let you go. I do have a question because you brought up Remy. R.I.P. But also kind of on R.I.P. at the end there. There was like a little tease. Hypothetically, if Rogue were to encounter a version of Gambit that was not as kind because he's been revived by Apocalypse, what would that do to Rogue's psyche? What might we expect?
Well, Rogue is a very complicated creature, isn't she? So, in that situation, she would have to weigh the consequences. She would have to see what she could do to change things. And she's a determined woman. So, Rogue, she's already on a mission to get justice for Remy. So let's see how things play out, shall we?
Based on how we all reacted to X-Men 97, and everyone loved it. I have yet to find a person who is like, it wasn't as good.
Right.
Everyone, you have an award in your hand because of how good this show is. what do you think Rogue would say to us to prepare us for season 2?
Buckle up, bub.
Ah,
to borrow a little quote from Wolverine. Buckle up, bub.
amazing. Lenore, you are such a sweetheart. You are just
Thank
such
you.
a delight to talk to. You were
Oh.
so kind at D23.
Mhm.
Honestly, you're a magnetic person, and I see why everybody loves working with you.
Thank you so
And
much.
congratulations to you on all the success, all the things you have coming up, and on
Appreciate
this book. A
Thank
Rogue's
you.
Tale, a memoir, is available now. Everybody, the digital ebook is the best way to go get it. Barnes and Noble, Amazon, go get it online. You may be able to find copies of it, physical copies of it. I know a lot of us are physical copy folks. Keep
Yeah.
hunting out there. I'm sure you can find it online as well. But the ebook right now is the best way to get it. So thank
And
you,
ask
Lenore.
your bookstore. Ask your bookstore to get it in, because there are copies in a warehouse in the States. They just need to bring them in. They have to
Yeah,
be
so,
asked.
so you can have it essentially ordered to your bookstore
Yeah.
if you want the physical copy of it. And then go to, I know, Lenore, you'll pop up at some of these conventions. I hope people will
Yes.
bring the book and have you sign it. I think that's awesome.
That's true. And I
So-
bring the book with me to Comic Cons as well. So if people have had trouble finding it in the physical copies, I bring them with me.
Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Lenore, thank you so much for
You're
hanging
so
with us
welcome.
today.
It's so nice to meet all of you. You're all so smart and talented and funny and witty. I really enjoyed listening to you all before I came on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We do. Well, thank you. And we wish you the best of luck. We'll be following your
Thank you.
journey, and you are welcome on Phase Hero anytime. You can
Thank
close
you.
out the browser. You will be disconnected from the broadcast and go back to life outside of Phase Hero.
Alrighty.
I know it's hard.
Thank
But,
you.
know.
Thank you. Yes. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Lots of love, sugars. Mwah.
Thank you. Oh,
Bye-bye.
she's the best. That was awesome. She is the best. And we did go a little bit over on time. I started to feel a little bit bad. We gotta get this wrapped up. But she is the best. She's the best. And everybody, yes, you can go find A Rogue's Tale, a memoir right now. You can find the ebook. You can order it to your local bookstore. Highly recommend doing that. As you just saw, there's just like a taste, a sample platter of all the stories that are in there. So huge thanks to Lenore for joining us and the teases about season 2. I can't wait for X-Men 97 season 2. But all right, we have to go back to some news that was supposed to be part of the first part of our show, but it Sony's Spider-Man universe that never had a Spider-Man is dead. It's over. We're on the other side. Kraven the
I
Hunter.
can't believe it.
Kraven
I'm
the
gonna
Hunter
cry.
will be the last Sony Marvel movie of Spider-Man movies that never had a Spider-Man to be made. At least, quote, for now, which feels like a threat. But what a legacy it leaves behind. 3 Venom movies, a Madam Web, a Morbius re-release, and a Kraven the Hunter, which the reactions last night were not good. I don't want to dunk on this. You know, guys, I don't love to live in the negative spaces, but this universe has pissed me off and disappointed me time after time. So I do feel a bit happy that it's over. I don't know what it's over actually means because they still have an incredible roster of characters that would be a shame to just see shelved. I'm talking about El Muerto, obviously, but how do we feel? Aaron, you're at the top of the screen.
I mean, what a wild ride. I feel like we're headed for high school guidance counselorville. Don't be sad it's ending. Be thankful it ever happened. Crazy to think that how long? What years on the gravestone for this thing?
What was the first movie? Venom 1?
Venom 1?
Like 2018, I want to say.
It was a short-lived
It feels
franchise.
like it was longer than that, which is crazy. It just goes to show you how things have gone off the rails.
We also had the COVID years in between where like time was nebulous and meant nothing.
There we
So
go.
like that
That's
also
probably
helped
a part of
exacerbate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hypno Hustler is going to be
Yeah.
missed.
Yeah.
One of
Even
them that I
then-
actually would have liked to have seen.
We're saying all of this and the Spider-Man Noir show is still happening. So it's like we're not it's not like we're not getting Sony live action Spider-Man stuff. We're just getting it in a different format, and who knows what efforts they have beyond that to try to do like the TV universe that they said they were going to do. That was originally just Silk and Spider-Man Noir. So it's like the for now is very threatening, but I just took it as like they don't have any other movies that are immediately in development, which was kind of obvious just looking at the slate that we've had so far.
I'm like at a loss of words. I think we should all wear black and go see Kraven.
I'm ready.
This franchise, I would say it failed upwards, but it didn't. It just kept going for seemingly no reason. I don't get it. I'm at a loss, but it's over. It's over. Kraven is the end. We can move on. Is there anything more to talk about with this?
Jamie, do you have thoughts?
I mean, listen, the fact that we're probably going to exit this year and of the 3 movies, my favorite's going to be Madam Web is insane. Like that's something's wrong. But who knows? Maybe I'll love Kraven. Maybe it'll be the best movie I've seen in years.
Baby, highly doubt it. I talked to somebody this morning who saw it last night, and it did not sound like it was very good. I don't like to relay that because we all form our own opinions. So we will, Jamie and I are going to see it tomorrow night. Wait, Aaron, are you coming tomorrow night?
I can't, unfortunately.
It's just me. Okay, that's
and
right.
now I feel okay about it, huh?
It's just me and Jamie tomorrow night. So
Yeah.
Jamie and I will record something to release on podcast platforms. We will have an official score from the 4 of us on next Wednesday's show. I just want to have something Friday morning so we can just yap about Kraven. It feels like, we're obligated to do something because it's a Marvel movie nonetheless. Daniel Zambrano, real quick, before we have one more special guest surprising the show in a minute here. Daniel Zambrano said, really hope this means that Vulture comes back to the MCU. Great interview, so wholesome. Glad to see Jamie doesn't hate the show anymore. Jamie just only hates Chris Evans. But yeah, Daniel, no, that was actually...
This was a bit from last week when you weren't here.
Yeah, Jamie, you didn't hate Face Hero last week. Also, Roger bought everybody lunch. What a guy. Thank you, Roger. Very kind of you. You guys, we have the best audience, best community here on Face Hero. Thank you, guys. We love you for it. But I want to go back to this Vulture comment. That was actually my talking point that I forgot to bring up. Do we all agree now that Kraven and the Sony Universe is dead, that the Morbius post-credit scene never happened and Michael Keaton's Vulture never left the MCU? Yes, right? I mean, anybody who says no, please don't answer.
Can I just say it would also be funny if it was just a completely different universe's Vulture and was not even the one that we followed from Homecoming, like just to make it even more unnecessarily convoluted. But like as a comic fan, I could like list a huge laundry list of teases for things that never came to pass. So I'm unsurprised that ultimately at the end of the day, this just completely fizzled out.
Don't be giving Eric Voss ideas. Don't you be giving our friends ideas.
All right, wait. We have a special guest here real quick that I'm going to bring onto the show. The epic voice guy, John Bailey, who's taken off right now because his latest character is a sensation and an absolute pest. I say that with love. John Bailey, I'm going to welcome you to the stage. It's live, so just a heads up, when your camera pops up, everybody can see you. Boom. John, can you hear us? John, can you hear us? No?
Oh, no.
All right, I'm going to leave John there for a second. And if the camera and mic pop on, I have to talk about Jeff the Land Shark. Can
I just say, I don't have access to this game yet because I have like the generation of Xbox that's like below being able to support this game. But just seeing Twitter have this reaction to Jeff the Land Shark after having loved him in the comics is the most hilarious thing. Like I never in a million years could have predicted this. I love that he is now just like public menace #1 when he's just a little guy.
Jeff is getting a push right now too. I just got a package from Marvel Unlimited, and I'm going to be doing a giveaway for Marvel Unlimited on my social channels because of this package. They sent me a really cool piece of art. The centerpiece is Jeff of this artwork. So Jeff is getting a push right now. John's back. Let's see if he's connected. John, can you hear us? What's up? Oh, wait. I think we might have lost you again.
We came so close.
Oh, this is typical Jeff, isn't it? Voice of Jeff the Shark in Marvel Rivals. What a perfect lower third. Oh, wait. I hear you. Hello? No? Okay. Well, we'll leave that again. Is it? Wait, is that? I heard Jeff. I heard Jeff start talking.
Yeah.
What is going on right now? Jeff is crashing our show. He's trying to eat us and throw us off the map. All right. Anyway, yeah, I would love to get John on to hear about what it was like to bring Jeff's voice to life because I was actually playing the game thinking somebody had to record this voice of Jeff, which is adorable, but also makes the most insane noises. And then I was scrolling through Instagram Reels yesterday, which all of them now are just Marvel Rivals Reels. And I saw his video recording it, and it's so funny. And that's how I got in touch with him. Anyway, what do we have anything else on the Marvel front to talk about today?
I don't think so.
I think that's all the Marvel of the day.
Amy Pascal saying the stuff about Spider-Man 4, possibly.
Amy Pascal talking about Spider-Man 4. What'd she say?
She said that basically the movie is about Peter's choice to not be Spider-Man. I mean, not to be Peter Parker anymore and leaning into Spider-Man. And she's like, I can't really say too much more than that. So shout out to Amy for being around hot mics. We love when she's around hot mics. We love Miss Pascal when she wants to say something to all of us. Like, I'll never forget, what is it, Lord and Miller's face when she said something about live action Miles Morales. Both of them, like, someone put the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme behind it. Like, oh goodness. So, is everybody down with just the Spider-Man movie? Of course, he won't have any friends. We know that. No one knows who he is. Brandon's gonna go, who?
I'm gonna take anything at this point about this movie just with a grain of salt. Like, even then, that narrative could manifest in a million different ways. And like, maybe I'm going to clown for Black Cat because if he is just being Spider-Man and not being Peter, maybe that's the kind of relationship he could have. But I don't know. It still feels so early. This movie doesn't feel real yet. So I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. Yep. All right. We're going to try one more time with John here. Let's see. John, can you hear us?
I can hear you fine.
Oh my God. What's going on, dude? How are you?
I try to say stuff, but you can't hear me.
Jeff the Shark is live on Face Hero. Dude, if you want, you're welcome to turn your camera on. I'm not sure. You're welcome to keep it off as well. But, dude, thank you for coming on real quick. How are you?
I'm afraid to touch anything. It might ruin it.
I don't blame you. That's totally fair. Congratulations on Jeff the Shark being an absolute all-star.
I know. They told me he was going to be awesome, but I'm like, okay, sure. I've heard that before.
I scroll through Instagram now, and everything I get is a Jeff the Shark reel. Just people playing as Jeff, people making memes about Jeff. What is it like for you to see that? Do you get those same reels?
I am pretty psyched that I think it's kind of funny just now, since I've been talking about it since San Diego Comic-Con in July, and you all just now, the light bulb just came on.
That's fair. Listen, I played Overwatch for the first time like a month ago. And then Marvel Rivals just basically made me delete it. And
Bye, Overwatch. Thanks for
I say that with love. I love Overwatch, but
it saved your game.
I underestimated the power of Marvel Rivals, I admit. But I'm so glad this game's here. Are you a gamer?
So, true story, just FYI to backtrack a little bit. I auditioned for Overwatch 2, and they didn't cast me, and look what happened. I'm just saying. Marvel 10 million players in 3 days. John Bailey's a good luck charm.
You don't get Optimus Prime in the booth and not put him in the game.
Oh, Optimus Prime was once owned by Marvel.
This is so insane. Oh my goodness. John is one of the most talented voice actors out there, everybody.
I have so much history with Marvel, you guys don't even realize it. I was in voices in Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate. I'm the announcer of Marvel Snap, as well as the voice of the Collector in the Vault, which is a new addition they just added. I was additional voices in What If Season 2. I was doing the trailers for Spider-Man. I even did ADR for Chris Evans for one of the very first things that they showed of the first Captain America movie, where they had to change his voice for some reason. I said, hi, this is Chris Evans, and this is the first look at Captain America, the First Avenger.
And you've also, you were part of like What If too, I saw.
Yeah, season 2, What If? Like I said, additional voices in that. That was a lot of fun. But did some screaming for Thor, as well as some of the robots in the deadly fake town episode and something else. I forget. There was like 2 or 3 episodes. I was also ADR in Hawkeye season 1. I also do Deadpool sometimes. D23, I can neither confirm nor deny. I can also neither confirm nor deny that you might hear me in certain Marvel rides and certain Disney theme parks around the world, but that's here or there. I could tell you, but I need that guy's leg over there.
Jamie's blown away right now. Jamie's gobsmacked. She's like,
Whoa.
I've heard all these voices.
Y'all don't even know. I'm the guy everybody's heard, but nobody's heard of.
cue Randy Orton's theme song. I hear voices in my head. But no, dude, I reached out to you because I saw that reel and I was like, I've been familiar with your work forever, obviously, and I've seen you on social media and stuff. But Jeff the Land Shark is like an insane moment right now that I mean, have you ever seen a reaction this like viral to something you've done before?
I love that they either love me or they freaking hate me, depending on if I'm on their team or not.
Dude, listen.
If I'm on their team, they freaking love me. If I'm not on their team, they freaking hate me.
For everybody listening,
I don't understand. They're acting like this is some kind of glitch. If y'all would just go to the hero profile pages and look and just read the instructions, it's literally recommended as his combo to gulp all y'all up if y'all dumb enough to hang all out together and spit you over the edge. Why are you surprised? It's better strategy. I'm just saying, maybe don't roll so close together so Jeff won't eat you all.
You're giving the sauce away. For everybody listening, by the way, Jeff the Land Shark in Marvel Rivals, if you haven't played the game, is this adorable character that has probably the most sold skin, like additional skin. I don't know if they're called skins in Marvel Rivals like they are in Fortnite, but like a costume. Okay. Yeah, there's a skin you can wear like a pink dolphin suit. It's adorable.
I hope Deadpool comes with brown pants as an accessory. No, so the background story for you Marvel comic fans is that MODOK created this mutant land shark army when he was fighting, and Jeff was left over, and Gwenpool adopted him. But then in typical Gwenpool fashion, she decided that was too much responsibility, and Deadpool got stuck with him. But he wanted to play with people at the beach, but people were scared of him because he was a shark, so he put on a dolphin costume, which is freaking adorable. I did not know they were going to make it pink, and I didn't know it was going to be an accessory in the game. It's freaking awesome. I immediately got one.
It's amazing. There's also like the I think the standout moment for me with Jeff, the first time I noticed how adorable Jeff is before he ate me, was how like when you're going up to battle and he's swimming and he's like da 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 da. I assume you're not allowed to do the full Jaws theme song, but they were just like, what is the direction you're getting?
Oh, this is going to be a Marvel exclusive, everybody. You guys buckle up. So that was actually an improv joke that I did while we were doing things to do while he's swimming under the water. And I already had all of these things in mind. I was going to try to see whatever I could get in there, even if it was just to make everybody laugh. It would happen because it was there's a lot of efforts, believe it or not. He doesn't have just a couple of things to say. There's a ton of efforts and reactions. There's whole conversations with certain characters. And no, I can't tell you what he says to Rocket. And because there's preschool toys present. Let's just say he comes from the Deadpool universe, if that says anything about his language. So we call these efforts, by the way, if there is no actual language. And I improvised the Jaws theme song, and it just got such a huge reaction. And I kind of figured there's no way they can use that because it's a copyrighted song. But I know that there's also a skirt around the edges thing that you can do if something's less than 7 seconds or something like that. So I thought I'd throw it out there. To be fair, there were also ones that did not get picked. I also tried Baby Shark, and I also tried Godzilla because the way he goes underneath the water, and the Japanese game developers, I knew they'd think that was funny, and I got a very big laugh out of that. Well, that was a pretty big laugh for her. She never made any other noises. So I thought that was a good sign that they liked what I was doing with the character. But then the next session, it was written into the script. I'm like, does this mean what I think it means? And the engineer says, excuse me, how good are your lawyers? And they said, our lawyers are excellent. Please continue. So I was like, that means the Jaws theme song. My little.
Oh, no, we lost him.
Copyright got him.
Yeah. What a great story, though.
That was delightful.
Grabbed him.
Oh my gosh.
No, that's hilarious. I mean, that moment with Jeff is iconic in Marvel Rivals. Jenna, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this game when you start playing it. I know you were busy, finishing up the Eras tour. But
I personally was finishing.
Yes,
I was there in the building as it was happening. But no, Chris's brother has like a console that can play it, so I'm very much looking forward to playing it. Like I've heard nothing but great things.
I think you're gonna love it. It is super, super fun. Honestly, it's pulled me off of Fortnite. But anyway, yeah, dude, John, if you're listening still, thank you so much for hanging with us. That is an incredible story. That Jeff's Jaws theme song was improvised because it's an integral part of the tone, the humor of Marvel Rivals. That's amazing. That's funny. Agents of Fandom is going to tweet that, and I'm going to share it. Thank you guys. I want to shout out Agents of Fandom. Well, you guys are the best because you guys share stuff that we say. It gives us an opportunity to share it and not just toot our own horn in a way. Like it's a weird dynamic where you're trying to get this news out there, but not like beg people for coverage and come off as like you're desperate or some shit. But when you guys do that, it validates what we do here. We get to share it, amplify you guys, and then everyone else sort of starts to see it and it becomes a snowball. So I want to give a shout out to our friends at Agents of Fandom, who a lot of them I know started coming together and meeting each other as a part of the community of a show we used to do together. So yeah, anyway. Thank you guys. And thank you, John and Lenore. I mean, what a freaking show this is. We are running way long here. We got to keep moving here. Let's switch over to DC. Jenny, you want to kick off the DC portion of the show?
Yeah, so there were rumors kind of going around over the past week amongst all of the other crazy news about potential reshoots for Superman. And James took to Threads to kind of debunk it a little bit and actually clarify what was going on. He said it's not a few days of reshoots. Quote, we're doing a day and a half of pickup shots, no scenes, no reshoots, just a handful of individual shots to enhance the film. So, of course, everyone worries about reshoots the second they come up in connection to some sort of comic book movie. But it sounds like it's very minimal and very just kind of run of the mill for a production like this. Also, like, I know that I think he said they were already screening the movie for some people like at WB. The fact that they have a cut ready and this movie is still 6 months away is insane to me. And like that they're now in the pickup stage, like that just makes me really confident and happy. What do y'all think?
I mean, I've said a million times, like, reshoots and stuff are normal. The fact that he has to be like, it's not that kind of reshoot because of the attacks that are nonsense. This is just par for the course, normal movie making. Yeah, I'm like, this isn't even news. It's just that James Gunn insists on commenting on things, which he has. I respect that as well. But it's like, okay.
Yeah, this is not. I mean, I'll take it as news because it's an opportunity for engagement and something to talk about. But like, it's not really news. It is what it is. It's very standard. I think James Gunn runs a tight ship, as tight as possible as he can. Sometimes you just need to go pick up a couple shots, and that's what it is. And they're probably doing it right here on the Warner Brothers lot, in LA. So yeah, but we did get a trailer this morning.
Ooh. Well, wait, is this me? Oh, well, no. Well, I guess I do get it. I thought this was gonna be Jamie. My bad.
But you can tee it up for Jamie.
Coming in January, and we have a trailer, which is delightful. Everyone had been wondering what the heck happened with the show, with all the changeover, with like the regime change. Everybody was like, "Well, is Harley Quinn or any of the other stuff?" We're getting more Harley Quinn, guys, and that's a good thing. More Alan is a good thing, even if he's not talking about shooting Nazis in this one.
Yes.
Instead, he's doing Shakespeare.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't know a trailer dropped because I woke up and came right into this room to record this.
I was like,
I literally, like, I sleep until the last possible minute, no matter what time we do the show, whether it's 9 a.m., 11 a.m., or 1 p.m. So cannot wait to turn off this show and go watch it. I'm just ready. I'm ready for season 5. I'm so hyped. I just can't believe the show hasn't been canceled by streaming wars. I'm so happy.
I find it interesting that we're going to get Creature Commandos episodes overlapping with Harley Quinn episodes. That's cool. It's a good time to be a DC fan. Interesting time to be a Star Wars fan, huh?
So I teased this at the start of the show because when the Evans news dropped, this dropped maybe 10-15 minutes before, and Aaron dropped this in our group chat and was like, "Chat, is this real? Like, full stop." It's Jeremy Allen White. He is cast in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie as Rhoda the Hutt, who is Jabba the Hutt's small son, who I guess is in Clone Wars. I have not seen Clone Wars, so all of the lore I've kind of learned over the past couple days. Jamie, educate us on Rhoda the Hutt and what his deal is.
If I'm not mistaken, I think at one point, like, Count Dooku kidnaps him and he ends up with Ahsoka at some point, if I'm remembering correctly. And also it's funny because there's a point in Rebels where Ezra like says he's Jabba the Hutt. So there's like funny jokes going around that like it's really Ezra's son, like just like the dumbest shit you can imagine. But my thing about Jeremy Allen White doing this is like, I'm sorry, it's just I can't. Like, what is he getting paid to do? Is he wearing any kind of suit? Is he in a booth? Like, I just think it's beautifully ridiculous.
I mean, Jeremy Allen, he's beautiful, right? Everybody thinks so, right? Calvin Klein ads, all that shit. Like, now Rhoda the Hutt's going to be buff is one of the quotes I saw.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What's happening? I don't care. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm after Robert Downey Jr. came back as Doom, I'm trying to get more and more on the train of wait till we see it to judge. It's just this was so unexpected. This was so unexpected.
So
There's a reason I thought it was fake.
Yeah.
Like, I had to go do your best to fight against misinformation. Drop that in the group chat and be like, hey guys, I'm not sure about reality anymore. Is this real?
Maybe this is a case of a kid growing up, looking at his dad and being like, I don't want to be like you, and just going to the gym all the time, just getting ripped.
Because I saw people say that with his kidnapping of like he got upset that he was kidnapped as a child, so he got buff so it could never happen again, which is just a very funny mental image.
Yeah, Jesus. All right. Well, Skeleton Crew dropped a new episode last night. We have things I'd rather talk to. We really want to do Skeleton Crew stuff.
Jamie didn't get to mention how she feels about Skeleton Crew last week, so I feel like at very least Jamie.
I didn't watch the new episode because I got home really late last night. But I will say I loved the first 2 episodes. I'll just say there, Neil Nation Rise. I love that it's Star Wars, Goonies. Like, Goonies is one of my favorite movies of all time. And when you're combining that with Star Wars, I'm all in on this show. I look forward to us like giving it more space and time in the future. But I didn't watch the new episode, so.
I think the big takeaway from last night's episode is that Neil snoring is fucking adorable.
Yeah.
That's really what it came down to. Spoiler alert. It's so cute. All right. We got to talk about awards. That's going to be the last thing we talk about. But real quick, Fandango dropped a most anticipated movies list for 2025. This is the order of it, starting at 10. 10, 28 years later. 9, Superman. 8, The Accountant 2, 7, Wicked Part 2, 6, Avatar Fire and Ash, 5, Fantastic Four, First Steps, 4, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, 3, Jurassic World Rebirth, 2, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, and 1, Captain America Brave New World. Number 1, Captain America Brave New World. Number 9, Superman. This is from a poll of 9,000 ticket buyers. This is just, this doesn't make any sense to me. I think this is actually probably what a lot of people voted for who go to the movies and see trailers and shit. But right now, Superman gets a trailer, it's going to jump. 28 years later, just released a trailer. I don't know if that's related. Jurassic being up there, they saw Jurassic and said yes. Ballerina being Captain America being the most anticipated movie of 2025. I just don't agree with this list, but I don't really know what the parameters are to get people to vote, what sort of recency bias they have based on trailers they've seen, what sort of news they get. But this doesn't seem reflective of the people I talk to online or my own opinion. But, other than that, I'm curious what you guys think.
I do think, like you said, I think it's a good understanding of how just the normal moviegoer might be viewing the movies that are coming out next year. Like, we talk about this all the time of like, as much as we are the nerds in our bubble, like there are so many more people who are just going to the movies and just seeing whatever's available. They don't know a movie exists until they start seeing a trailer for it. So I think this list is purely a lot of recency bias. It is wild that Superman is as low as it is, but like you said, I think as soon as the marketing starts, that's going to jump even further. The chat's pointing out Thunderbolts is not even on this list at all, even though it has 2 trailers. That's kind of wild. And The Accountant 2, I can understand because like that movie seems to be the massive hit on streaming. So like I'm sure that just based on the audience that was being polled for this, they might be more aware of that movie than we were.
The Accountant 2 being above Spider-Man or Superman is so funny. Like, I feel like the Snyder Bros are like, yeah, Ben Affleck, we're still rooting for you, buddy. I recently watched The Accountant for the first time, and that movie's ridiculous.
It is. It's
That's
insane.
John Bernthal, right?
Yes.
I love John Bernthal, but not even that could get me excited for The Accountant 2. I mean, whatever. Like, no shade of The Accountant 2. This list is how a lot of people are finding out The Accountant is getting a 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm surprised Wicked 2 is as low as it is, just because it's all Wicked's all anyone's talking about right now.
I would be curious of like when they did this poll of like, was that before Wicked Part 1 came out and then like people didn't know how excited they were for Part 2? Like I would not be surprised about that. But then even that Avatar being higher than that seems kind of weird.
It's a fair comment from Eric. Not everyone listens to the online chatter, and Falcon and Winter Soldier had better ratings than WandaVision. I mean, that's one thing I'm also realizing is there's so many people who, shockingly, there are people out there who don't listen to Phase Hero. I'm yet to find them myself, but they exist. I know. I accept that. I embrace that reality. But no, this list, it's interesting. I am also in the agreement. Wicked 2 being 7 behind Ballerina and Jurassic and Mission. I know it's kind of. I just think there's so many people that we don't get to hear from Middle America not on Twitter. Like there's a huge portion of the country, of the world, that we just don't really engage with on a daily basis. And we all engage with different people because we all live in different places too. But we all live in the same bubble on Twitter pretty much, because the algorithm feeds us the shit we want to see, which then makes us think everything's the most important thing in the world because we like it, even though it's actually not.
Because of current events, how many people are showing up for Captain America without realizing it's not Chris Evans? I think that there's a non-zero chance. I think there's like a good 20% of people who will show up to that movie thinking it's Chris Evans playing Captain America and then be like, oh no. And suckers, you already bought a ticket, so it still counts.
Just can't. I just imagine that the people who are mad about that Captain America movie walking in and not knowing would fucking tickle me. Oh my God. I think everybody knows what I mean.
Yeah.
But like, imagine somebody walking in and expecting Chris Evans and they're like, nah, who's this? Like, what the, like, oh my God.
Like the only poster they saw was the one with like the Red Hulk hand holding the shield. They never saw Sam on any of the marketing whatsoever.
I thought Captain America was going to be red. What is this?
You know what? There are probably going to be like a dozen people that will happen to. We won't hear about it because they won't tweet about it, but like those people will exist. That is
It's gonna absolutely.
Like maybe I shouldn't joke about that, but like if those people exist and they suck, like, but it is what. I would just to see somebody have that moment would just be it would. Oh God.
Wait,
I am very excited for Cap 4. Saying I don't think it should be number one. I know it sounds like shade at the movie. I think the trailers have been very good, but I just think like number one seems like people have seen trailers for it and they're more familiar with it, which is why it's in that spot. I would say Wicked is going to make more money and be more anticipated. Mission, maybe. Superman, I think, is going to be a huge movie. Cap 4 is going to be very big, but we'll see. But this list was very interesting. We're going to go into our awards conversation here. But real quick in the comment section, what is your most anticipated movie of 2025? And if you're listening in podcast form, send us a tweet. I would like to find a way to make polls so that we can sort of poll the audience weekly and make it a segment and then sort of make lists like this of our own. I think that'd be a really cool way to express the tastes and the interests and the anticipation rankings of our audience, because we all talk, but we like hearing from you guys. But the Golden Globe Awards nominees are in. This came to my attention because the Penguin sweep is upon us, but this is not my time to talk. But Brandon, $10 for that invitation meeting. Brandon, I love Brandon Moore, man. Let me tell you something. Brandon Moore is one of the first people who ever I connected with on social media when I started this career. And Brandon is always a positive force on social media, always a good vibe. Speaking of good vibes, though, there's some good awards news. Jamie, do your thing.
I wish I had time to talk about like everything in depth, but since we mainly talk about stuff like Penguin and Agatha, I think we should focus on those where Penguin got some big nominations. Colin, Kristen Milioti, and the show got nominated, which is awesome because Kristen is, yes, she deserves to win everything. But Catherine Hahn got nominated for Agatha All Along. She's I was surprised that Patti LuPone didn't, because Patti LuPone's the only one who got a Critics' Choice nomination. Catherine did not. So that's interesting. But the thing we really need to talk about, which you talked about before, is that Agatha being in like the comedy categories, but Penguin's in the limited series. And we initially kind of thought this was going to be the opposite. So that's how they're campaigning. But the good news is that Catherine and Kristen aren't going up against each other, but they are for the Independent Spirit. They're up against each other. And I have to tell you, I can't believe I'm going to say it, but I would pick Kristen Milioti over Catherine Hahn in terms of acting awards. I would rather watch Catherine Hahn do her thing all day, but if I'm going to give out an award, that's just my truth, and it's painful to say. But it's cool, so cool to see anybody get nominated for comic book stuff, and there's so many other movie stuff that I could just rattle off and talk for an hour, but that's not really what we do here.
But I'm glad you have an opportunity to talk about it. I find the thing that goes to my mind, and this is going to shock nobody because I think everybody's familiar with how my mind works in these moments, that Penguin doing limited series and Agatha doing comedy, is it comedy or musical? Or is that just the Oscars? So
no, the Oscars don't do that.
Yeah, the Oscars do not do that.
Okay. So the thing I find interesting is that Penguin being limited series, like they've already kind of hinted they thought about doing a season 2 of Penguin, whereas Agatha felt like it's not going to get a second season. It is just going to end there, and it'll go into something else like Disney Plus tends to do. But I thought we might be on our way to a Penguin season 2, and this seems to imply that that's not the case, unless of course they're running it as that because they see that as the best place to win awards.
But you can't just do that. Like that's not you can't just be like, I'm gonna pick and choose. So I mean, and minds can be changed. Like White Lotus was originally run as a limited series, and then the following year it was moved I think to comedy or it's weird.
Yeah.
It's like it was like comedy, it was drama, it was limited series, it's popped around. So it can be changed, absolutely, but you can't just be like, we're gonna do it this way because it's a better chance of winning. That's not how it works.
I also wouldn't be surprised if like the nomination or submission process for the Globes predated any comments about like maybe we will do a season 2. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to submit it as a limited series because that's what they thought at the time, and then now they might be developing a season 2, but they're not going to say that until this award season's probably over because they don't want to then like sour the fact that they're winning limited series awards.
Awards being so political, it's not surprising at all, but there being so many politics to submissions and nominee, all that's so crazy to me. But yeah, I also think that if Penguin was going against Agatha stuff, Penguin's going to sweep them anyway.
Yeah.
I just think Penguin, no, and I say again, not to put down Agatha as it sounds that I am. I think the acting in Agatha is very, very good, but Penguin was just like on another level of everything else I've watched this year. Kristen, Colin, the entire crew were incredible in that. And Agatha was excellent, but I just think Penguin was, at least for me, and I don't watch everything. So what do I know? Jamie watches so much more than me, and I will never even try to argue that.
It's a award thing. Like I said, like I would if thankfully in the Globes they're not against each other, but they're also Catherine Hahn's not gonna win. She's not. I mean, in this category, I mean, when we've got I don't know if Hacks is up there this year because I'm getting everything mixed up, but like there are certain shows that are gonna beat Agatha. It's just absolutely gonna happen. But it's still fun to see it in there. But I do think that Krista Milioti has a chance of winning. But who knows? We're early. It's so early. This is far away.
It's just a good thing that Kraven is a movie because if it was a show, they'd all be screwed. But all right, that's our show today, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging with us. Thank you to Lenore Zann for joining. Thank you to John Bailey for coming and crashing. Jeff, the land shark, that's the son of a bitch. Jenna, any last words for today's episode of Phase Hero?
It's at Hey It's Jenna Lynn on social media where you can see all of my tweets about the Eras tour. I'm still gonna be tweeting. Believe me, I'm gonna be posting about that. And as always, go read some comics and go check out my YouTube channel. Go read some comics, which just got shared by James Gunn again for the second time this past weekend, which was an unbelievable thing to see as soon as I turned my phone off of airplane mode and when I flew up to the Eras tour. So
I love it. I love it. Much deserved. Jamie?
I blacked out at Louis Gossett Jr., but I somehow managed to get through this whole episode. Oh my God, Lenore Zann. That woman's fantastic. Follow me on Letterboxd, all the business. Follow me on Blue Sky because I've been having a lot of fun recommending a movie every day, random movie. Shout out to David, who's been actually watching them. That's been really fun to watch people like take my suggestions and watch the movies. And speaking of movies, if you go to the theater, don't be on your phone. Because it's rude.
Aaron?
At Summit Lake Hornet on all the things. I would say to everyone out there, we have a new House of Harkness coming out. Preeti put that out this morning. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Also, if you haven't been looking at this channel besides Face Hero, what are you doing? Second of all, Brandon Davis is now streaming on YouTube, stream Marvel Rivals, watching Brandon live troubleshoot and get killed by Jeff the Land Shark and listen to Mod like hand him the blocks to do what he needed to do was so much fun over the weekend. So be on the lookout. I'm sure he's gonna get a hang of this thing.
Yeah, the BD streaming era might be upon us in a more full-time capacity. We'll see about that. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Also, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming to my YouTube channel in the next, I'd say like 8 days. There's going to be some really good stuff on here to talk about. A bonus episode of Phase Hero, that's for sure. The Den of Thieves stuff is on there now. But yeah, there's going to be new stuff coming to Phase Hero that I'm very excited to share. New stuff coming to the YouTube channel, which is at like, it's well over 36,000 subscribers now. Thank you so much, everybody. It's insane to me. But yeah, it's going to be a busy couple of weeks. Jamie and I are going to see Kraven Thursday night. We're going to a What If event tonight. Just right up here in LA. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna see episodes and share our thoughts on those. And we might go ice skating. Woo-wee. But yeah, so thank you so much, everybody, for supporting Phase Hero. I promise I'm figuring out the merch stuff. As soon as I can figure out, I actually started the YouTube store thing yesterday. If you go to phasehero.com right now, it sends you to a Shopify store, which is not active yet, but it does say like, this is supposed to be a Shopify store. So I'm figuring all that out. But we'll get it sorted and take care of all that, and we'll keep doing fun stuff, talking about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and all the other stuff we love yapping about and having you guys listen to us. Please continue to subscribe. That's our show. Play our show for your dad, play it for your dog. We'll see you sooner than next Wednesday. I promise you that. Bye, everyone. Oh, I didn't tee up the exit.